Okay, good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Planning and Zoning public hearing for Tuesday, April 20th, 2021. At this time, I'll turn to the secretary for reading the notice.
Do the pledge first part?
Oh, sure. Okay. If everyone could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Now we'll turn to the secretary for the reading of the notice.
All right. To be published in the Journal Enquirer Thursday, April 8th, 2021, and Thursday, April 15th, 2021, South Windsor Planning and Zoning Commission. Notice is hereby given that there will be a public hearing on Tuesday, April 20th, 2021, at 7 p.m. held in the way of an online WebEx conference meeting to consider the following. 1. Application 21-12P, Esteem Manufacturing, request for site plan approval for a 5,400 square foot addition on property located at 187 South Satellite Road, I-Zone. 2. Application 21-15P, RTT LLC, request for special exception to 4.1.1A for the sales of new/used cars on property located at 1505 John Fitch Boulevard, Unit B, I-Zone. Number 3, application 21-16P, Jessica Waterhouse, request for a special exception to section 7.12.2 to create an annual animal sanctuary to be known as Missoula Animal Sanctuary on property located at 215 Main Street, A-40 zone. And number 4, application 21-17P, Monique Damage, doing business as Precisely Pandas, request for a special exception to table 4.1.1A, section 7.4, to operate a daycare on property located at 1033 John Fitch Boulevard, I-Zone. To view this meeting, please tune into channel 16 on Cox Cable or to gmedia.swagit.com/live. To call in with comments to this meeting, please call WebEx conference call-in number 855-925-2801, meeting code 5365. Copies of this application are on file in the office of the town clerk and the planning department and online at www.southwindsor-ct.gov/planning-department/pages/planning and zoning commission-applications. At this hearing, interested parties may be heard by calling into the meeting, and written comments by the public will be received by mail or email to planning zoning comments at southwindsor-ct.gov. Persons who may require an accommodation can contact staff Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. at 860-644-2511, extension 329. Bart Passaconis, Chairman, Planning and Zoning Commission.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Bonzani. Just to remind the public, this is a virtual meeting. This meeting is being live streamed through a WebEx conference call on the town website, as well as local channels. And we'll be operating under the following procedures. The session is being audio recorded and video recorded to ensure sound quality. And I'll remind the commissioners now, if they could, the default rule for this meeting is that everyone will remain on mute. Commissioners and staff will generally remain on mute except when speaking or voting, and will generally be keeping video of themselves on throughout the meeting. Applicants should feel free to leave their video on or off. However, they will be asked to turn on their video when speaking. The public can provide public comments by email and or phone. The email address and phone number with the meeting code can be found on the front of the agenda. And just for clarification, the WebEx call-in number is 855-925-2801, and the meeting code is 5365. During public meetings, all the normal rules, including stating and now spelling your name, still apply. If you are speaking at this meeting and have an exhibit to the commission, which has not been distributed in advance of the meeting with the rest of the materials, please indicate that you wish to submit an exhibit. You will need to hold it up to the camera so that the commission and all the members of the public may review it. In addition, you will be required to email the exhibit or take a photograph of it and email it to planningzoningcomments@southwindsor.org, and it will be included in the permanent record of the commission. Members of the public may only speak during public participation for an item not on the agenda and during the public hearing comment period. Lastly, a reminder to the public on the phone to press *3 to indicate that you want to speak, and the # sign to get back to the main menu. Okay.
Mr. Chair, point of clarification.
Sure.
I think I heard you say that the meeting code was 5365, but the agenda
Okay.
listed at 536.
I stated the correct code, 5365.
Okay, so we probably want to remind people periodically that that's the correct, that the agenda is not correct.
Okay.
I'm here.
We have corrected the agenda online, so anybody accessing it now online will have the correct code. Just for your information.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us, Commissioner Flagg. Okay, I only see 5 people, so I just want to make sure. I believe for housekeeping, we only have Commissioner Foley, who is absent tonight.
And Greer.
Commissioner Greer also? Okay. And who do we have for our alternates here tonight? Commissioner Bernstein, I saw earlier, and Commissioner LeBlanc.
And Commissioner Aguirre is also there.
Okay, so Commissioner LeBlanc will sit for Commissioner Foley, and Commissioner Bernstein will sit for Commissioner Greer. Okay, our order of business tonight will first be to hear from our applicants, then we will hear from town staff, then we'll hear from members of the public, and then we'll hear from commissioners. So at this time, I'll ask if there's anyone here to represent application 21-12P, Esteem Manufacturing. And if you could let them in, Mike.
That would be Bill Jodis, should be coming in. I don't see him on our list here, Bill. See him
Yeah.
a call?
Yeah, let Kevin in, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, there it is.
What else you have? Anybody?
Nope, just the two of us.
Okay.
And can you recognize Kevin to allow him to share your screen to show our drawings? Okay, so my name is Bill Jodis and with PDS Engineering and Construction. Thanks for having me, representing Esteem Manufacturing tonight for their approval. They've been in town for 25 years, and they're currently located in a building that abuts this property on the west side. They're a maker of aircraft parts, robotic parts, military electronics hardware. The new building is a combination of manufacturing, warehouse, and inspection areas. No sound will escape from the facility. All production is done indoors and is very quiet. No new truck traffic will be added. Their vendors show up once a day now. They'll just be loaded with more product. Esteem will be hiring 4 new people as a result of this building addition. This parcel Thanks. Oh, Kevin, can you put up drawing C101? Huh. So, maybe having some trouble there.
And commissioners, we do have a set of these drawings that were included in your package.
Oh, if everybody could look at drawing C101, site plan.
Yep.
I texted Kevin. We'll see if he can get that up in the meantime. But the parcel consists of 1 acre and is zoned industrial. The
Yep.
proposed new addition is 5,400 square feet. The existing building is 3,600 square feet. So the facility total will be 9,000 square feet when complete. The required number of parking spaces for the facility is 14. We are providing 16, including a handicap space. The maximum building coverage for the property allowed is 50%, and we're only at 21% coverage. Oh, here's our drawing. Thank you. The impervious coverage allowed on the site is 65%. We've actually decreased the impervious coverage on the site from 61% down to 57% by adding lawns and islands. We've added storm tech drainage chambers, which will add additional filtering of the stormwater and reduce stormwater runoff, lessening the impact on the town storm system. So go to drawing A200, Kevin. Perfect. The eave height of the new addition is 22 feet. The ridge height is 32 feet. The siding will be a tan color, which actually matches the siding on the existing facility to the west. The windows, there's the photo of the existing addition. We did that 7 years ago. So we're going to bring the same colors to the new building. The windows are a bronze color. The existing front office area of the existing building has an exterior brick. On the front, we'll be adding a roof front office building and covering the front gable area with siding that will match the new addition to the rear. So if we go to a drawing, back to C101. The addition's placed behind the existing building, therefore it's minimally visible from South Satellite Road. The existing 6-foot high chain link fence around the perimeter of the site will remain. We'll be placing privacy slats in the fence along the north side of the property facing the neighbors. The dumpster at the rear will receive a 6-foot high fenced in enclosure with privacy slats. At the front of the property, we're adding holly bushes as a screen in the front island around the transformer and also adding a red maple tree. The existing trees and the rear buffer are a combination of deciduous and coniferous trees. To enhance the buffer, we're placing 11 new green giant arborvitaes along the north side of the property facing the neighbors. So we go to drawing A201. You'll see the buffer. So the buffer trees that we're adding. So drawing A201.
Yep.
We go to that. So you see in the upper elevation on that drawing, the existing trees are 10 to 12 feet high, and they'll grow another 3 feet in 5 years to 13 to 15 feet high. And then the new trees that we're planting, they start at 6 feet and they'll grow to 5 to 6 feet in 5 years. And they'll be 11 to 12 feet high. And then you see the lower elevation on drawing A201. That shows the growth after 10 years. So the existing trees will be 15 feet tall after 10 years. And the new giant arborvitaes will be 30 feet tall after 10 years. So we're really adding to the screening back there between our new building and the neighbors in that buffer area. There's a storage container on site which you're relocating behind the new addition to reduce its visibility from the street. And then during construction, we'll place an anti-tracking pad at the entrance. We'll place silt fence all around the construction area. We'll place temporary sediment filters in the catch basins during construction. And our construction is well away from wetlands, which is at the rear of the property, so there'll be no impact to the wetlands. We're within all the front, rear, and side yard requirements. We've completed the site design within all the Town of South Windsor Engineering Department and Planning and Zoning requirements. And we meet all the other town requirements and therefore request your approval. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. If you could, we'll go back to our normal screen. And we will turn to our town staff, our Director of Planning, Michelle Leip.
Thank you. This is a request for a site plan modification to construct a 5,400 square foot addition to an existing industrial building, 187 South Satellite Road, industrial zone. The addition is proposed in the existing parking area that was originally used for outdoor storage equipment. You may recall this was the CAS equipment property previously approved by this commission for construction sales of equipment. Lot size is 1 acre. As indicated, they are reducing impervious coverage down to 57%. We do allow up to 65%. With this project, there's no outdoor storage proposed other than storage containers shown on the plans. We do allow outdoor storage in the industrial zone with the appropriate screening. Parking requirements for this manufacturing use are 13 spaces. They provide 15 spaces. There are 2 new overhead doors with windows proposed along the easterly side of the addition, along a dumpster pad along the northerly end of the parking area to be enclosed by a 6-foot fence. The new lighting proposed consists of wall packs in the building with full cutoff light fixtures. There is a requirement of a 50-foot buffer along the northern property bounding the residents on Judy and Barbara Lane. The applicant is proposing to supplement the existing trees with evergreen plantings at the edge of the existing parking area. They've also extended slats to the existing chain link fence along the rear of the parking area. The closest activity proposed is about 100 feet from the residential property line. They have provided the required cross-section of the buffer at 5 years and at maturity. There are regulated wetlands to the rear of the property, and the wetlands did review this application, approved it April 7th with recommendation of a $5,000 erosion bond and a $10,000 bond for the installation of stormwater structures. The site is currently serviced by public water and sewer. There is no, I misquoted, there's no need for Water Pollution Control Authority as it is already hooked up to the sewers. Design Review Committee did review this application on March 4th. As indicated, the building colors will match the existing building to the west and also complement the existing building, and they'll have a new bronze colored metal roof installed in the front of the building to complement the existing trim. The committee was satisfied with the proposal as presented. If this application is approved, there are no other planning modifications requested at this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we'll turn to our town engineer, Jeff Doolittle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that they are reducing the impervious coverage and adding the additional stormwater retention structures. I have one question. It's really a question. They're not adding any parking spaces. So my question is there sufficient parking on this site for all the employees and people that use this business? There are several other businesses on South Satellite that have employees parked on the street because they do not have sufficient parking.
Yeah, we're only adding 4 employees and we have 16 spaces, so we have plenty of parking.
Thank you.
Okay, does that conclude your report, Jeff?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we will turn to members of the public. Mike, is there anybody with their hand raised at this time? Okay, then what I will do is I'll move on to commissioners, but Mike, if you see anybody with their hand up, just let me know when there's a lull, okay? Okay, so at this time, I'm going to turn to commissioners. Commissioner Bonzani.
No comments. It looks like a excellent addition. It looks like they're above and beyond everything they needed to do. No comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Dexter.
No, total support. Great to see local business expanding, so I'm all for it.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Flagg.
I agree with everybody else. It's great to see a business expanding like that. I had one question. It shows that there is a car wash in the back. Is that new or is that existing right now?
Car wash.
Yeah, the concrete truck wash.
The
in the
concrete truck
northeast
wash.
corner.
Is that new or is that being added?
That's existing, but yeah, I don't see that there were any use for that.
Maybe to
Right.
wash the boat or the boats.
Yeah, it could be. There's no truck wash or anything like that for this project. They do all their production inside the facility.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. That's the only question I had. Thank you very much and good luck.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. First of all, congratulations on having a business that needs to find more space. That's great news. I have one little nit. I drove by there today. I had a little trouble finding your site because I didn't see a planning and zoning sign there. So I'm hoping, Michelle, that we did get adequate notification.
I know that the butters on Judy and Barbara Lane were notified, who are the most important people, quite frankly. And if I had contact with them over the last couple of weeks. So I think we have had adequate notification.
They did put signs up, and I took pictures of the signs just to show that I put them up. So if you want to see those, I could send them to you.
So we'll take your word for it. Thank you.
Okay.
Is that it, Steve?
That's it. Thank
Okay,
you.
Yep. I'll move on to Commissioner Bernstein.
Yeah, I concur with what everyone else is saying. Congratulations. The only questions that I had, one of them is addressed, which is the lighting. I see here, you're proposing use of wall packs. That is sufficient in your view?
Yeah. Yes, they're full cutoff, downward facing lights. They're only going to produce 2-foot candles from 30 feet away from the building. And we're real concerned about overflow of light off the property. And made sure we went with the cutoff lights. But we have enough light on site for our use.
That makes sense. And although I'm not sure why there would be a need, but would there be a need for any additional security?
No, I mean, we have a fence all around the property, so we're confident in that.
All right. Well, looks good to me. Thank you. That's all I have, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner LeBlanc.
Yeah, this was a great proposal. That's pretty well spelled out as far as I can see. The only comment I had was a touch upon Commissioner Bernstein's comment regarding wall packs and lighting. I realize that they're full cutoff. I know it's a tall building and you're getting closer to the neighbor behind you. Now, depending on the height of the wall, where that wall pack is situated, could make a difference. You will get some cast illumination into the backyard no matter what. The higher you go, the more it spreads out, even with a full cutoff. So if kept low enough where it helps the site, but not disturb the neighbor, that would be a good call. It's the only comment I have, but thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner McGuire.
The plan looks very thorough, but I did have one question, and if I missed this, I'm sorry. What is it that you manufacture?
Oh, it's aerospace parts, parts for military, electronics, robotics parts.
You did say that. Thank you.
Yep.
Forgive my
And no,
short-term
they're
memory.
very fortunate to be doing well the way aerospace is right now. So they're still planning on expanding. So
Great. Okay. Thank you. That's it,
Okay.
Chairman.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And I had a question also about the wall packs, and since there are residents behind here, do you have a time frame when the lights will the lights be dimmed or shut off at a certain time? I know you do have a fenced-in lot that can be secured, so just looking out for the neighbors in back.
They will probably run 2 shifts, so it would be into the night. But I mean, if there's any town ordinances on lighting, we'll comply with those.
Yeah, Michelle, what do we have to cover us on that? I would like to see the applicant do more than just the town ordinance, seeing there's residents back there, and agree to shut them off like maybe a half an hour after the second shift, or at least seriously dim them. Are the lights, the wall packs, going to be dimmable?
No, they're either on or off. But we could set them on a timer, so they go off after people leave after second shift. That's fine.
Yeah, if you have issues about security, we could always address that, but I think the neighbors would appreciate it, especially until your buffers mature.
Okay, I understand.
Okay. Mike from IT, has there been anybody else or anybody that raised their hands? Okay, staff, do we have any letters to read into the record?
No, we do not. We've not received anything.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes,
Can I jump back in?
sure.
Just thinking about this discussion about the lighting, would there be motion detector lights? So if the wall pack lights go off, let's say a half an hour after the second shift leaves and someone comes visiting who shouldn't be there, would there be motion detector lights to light them up?
We hadn't planned on that, but we could add that. That's if security is an issue, we could always do that. And then they would only come on for a few minutes and go back off after the motion stops.
I'm not suggesting it. I don't know if it's a good idea, but it just seems to me that that might be a good compromise in both mitigating the issue with the neighbors as well as making sure that, you know, there's adequate lighting and a deterrent in case an unwanted visitor wanders by. Just some food for thought, I guess.
Right. Yep. So I would only plan on doing it on the 2 lights on the back of the building. Those are the ones that face the neighbors. The other ones like to leave on all the time.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Commissioners, is there any reason to keep this public hearing open? Hearing none. Applicant, are you all set?
Yes. Thank you.
And Michelle, town staff, any reason to keep the public hearing open?
No, Chairman, we're all set.
Okay, then I will close the public hearing at 7:32, and I believe this is on our agenda to act on later tonight. Okay, moving right along. Application number 21-15P RTT LLC. Do we have somebody to represent that applicant?
Michael, if you could have Ernesto come into the meeting.
We'll probably, will Bill still be on?
Bill Jonas can leave the meeting at this point.
Okay.
Ernesto, are you here? Can you hear us?
Commissioners, if I could just remind you, if you could turn your microphones off when you're not speaking. Is Ernesto in the house?
How you doing? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
All right, sorry, man. I had a little difficult here with the computer.
Okay, well, we've got you now. If you could introduce yourself and present your application.
Yeah, my name is Ernesto Le. I got my manager, Sean. Go ahead, Sean.
Hey guys, how are you? My name is Sean Maher, Sean Maher.
Thank you.
So yeah, so the license is for the dealer license. I mean, for the auction access, actually.
Okay.
What we have here, guys, maybe I can shed a little light on it. We are currently licensed with Connecticut Motor Vehicle as a repair facility, and as such, we've gone through all the dealer and repair inspections, environmental concerns. What we're looking to do is, due to this our change in business due to COVID, we have had the opportunity to essentially wholesale cars, and I don't want to give the wrong impression. It's not going to be a retail lot per se. We're looking to purchase cars at a bordering town auction and sell them at another auction. So those cars physically, they probably won't even hit the yard here at South Windsor. Unfortunately, to gain access to these auctions, you need a dealer license. So that's the reason for today's change in our going from a licensed Connecticut repair license to a licensed dealer facility.
Okay, and I do see as part of the letter that you presented that you would be okay with a condition stating that.
Yes, we have, is it?
I got Kathy trying to go in. Can you guys send the invitation to her? Because she's one of she's I don't know, the staff.
Okay.
Kathy. Yep, that one.
Yes.
Appreciate that. Okay.
Okay.
Good enough.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Okay. What did you want to bring Kathy in for?
She is part of the family, and you know, what I mean, the RTT family. She wants to be explain a little bit of what's the purpose of this license. We don't want the wrong impression. I mean, like Sean say.
Yeah.
We're just doing for auction access. You know, sometimes we got different. Like for example, we end up with the trespassing cars, abandoned cars. We need to run through the auction to just collect something, you know, out of the tows.
We're looking to change a little bit of the direction of business from repair to more wholesale type things. With the COVID restrictions, we've had a little, financial impact, and at this point, we're trying to explore other options within our scope of existing licenses. So to go from a repair facility to a licensed dealer, it would be more of a wholesale situation. We wouldn't be storing any additional vehicles here at the facility. It wouldn't change our footprint per se, trying to be as neighbor friendly as possible. And I understand that an auto-based business brings a lot of concerns to the town in regard to the environmental impact and some of the zoning restrictions, but it wouldn't change anything through our existing footprint per se.
Okay. Does that pretty much complete your presentation?
I'm here. I also wanted to input, me and Ernesto we're part of the community, just like Sean was explaining. we're not doing this in the sense of like completely doing the wholesale or trying to change or upscale anything around. We're just, as we all can tell, like COVID has hit us all financially, especially small business owners. And like I said, we're members of the community. We also have property here as well. And we just wanted to see if that can help us around with our business and also bring a couple more part-time jobs into the South Windsor community. So we just wanted to state that it's nothing to, like, we're not going to uproot the community or do anything that, you know, we're not entitled to do or process. We just wanted to do it in benefits. Like Ernesto was explaining, some of the vehicles, when they're dropped due trespassing, some owners just forget about their cars or not willing to come and get them. And it's an easy way for us to be able to, you know, like sell them forward, get rid of them. Or also with our own trucks, we do our in-house mechanics, and as well we purchase our in-house. That would give us also the opportunity to be able to go to the auction house, purchase our own trucks, and also keep costs low. And it would be very beneficial for all of us. So I just wanted to state that. So it's not like we're going to uproot and have cars out there parked and have a really big business going. It's mostly like an in-house to just help us support and keep our doors open during this horrible pandemic.
Okay. Does that complete your presentation?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And we might be coming back to you. So at this time, I'm going to turn to our town staff, our town planner, and Michelle Light.
Thank you. So this is a request for a special exception to table 4.1.1A for used car dealer license to add to their existing general repairs license at 1505 John Fitch Boulevard in the industrial zone. The commission may recall in your industrial zone, you allow for car sales up to 4 vehicles. That was a change in the regulations a couple of years ago. So any approval you can that you can give would be limited to 4 vehicles on the site. The applicant has provided a narrative indicating that the primary access is to auctions to be able to upgrade existing truck and towing fleet. We're also hearing tonight they'd like to be able to move some trucks.
Excuse me 1 second, Michelle. Commissioners, if you could, and presenters, if you could mute your microphones. I'm getting a lot of feedback. Commissioner Flagg? Thank you. Okay, thank you, Michelle. Please proceed.
So this is an existing site, and I think the site plan was provided for you as well. There are 2 tenants that use the building. They both have automotive uses on the building. As indicated by the applicant, they don't intend to offer vehicles for sale that would be shown on the properties. This is subject to your special exception criteria. I won't read them into the record, but you do have those as a copy given to you tonight. The commission may impose conditions in accordance with the regulations to ensure your special criteria are met. The site is currently serviced by public water and sewer. There is no requirement for the Water Pollution Control Authority. There are no drains in the building. If this application is approved, the planning department has no requested modifications. The next step for the applicant would be to file an application with the Zoning Board of Appeals. They actually approve licensing of dealerships once a zoning approval is in place from this commission.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll turn to our town engineer, Jeff Doolittle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have no comments on this application.
Okay, thank you very much. So at this time, Mike, our IT guy, is there anyone from the public who would like to speak on this application? And just a reminder, if someone from the public is listening or calling in, *3 will raise their hand. Okay. Okay. So at this time, I'll turn to our members of the commission. Commissioner McGuire.
I don't have any questions at this time. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner LeBlanc.
Comments this time as well. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Bernstein.
No, I'm trying to wrap my head around this. So we're going from a business that's licensed to do repairs and they want a license to wholesale vehicles, which to me just sounds like a change in licensing, but I'm hearing Michelle say that that has to come through planning and zoning. Is that, and I guess at the same time, what I'm hearing from the applicant, and I believe the applicant used the word typically, if they're purchasing wholesale cars and then they're reselling them, they would just go from point A to point C and not sit in their lot. But I am hearing also that they could end up being stored in their lot. And from what Michelle just explained, there would be a cap of just 4 cars. So I'm going through this basically to educate myself. Do I have this right?
That's my understanding.
Okay, so I guess the issue from my perspective would be that the applicant understand that there is a cap of only 4 cars in the event that they're not able to wholesale what they purchase as judiciously as maybe they think they can.
That, if I may give a little clarity on that, we are
Yes.
understand completely that there would only allow 4 cars for quote unquote retail or for sale vehicles presented at our facility. We have a fenced in privatized storage lot in the rear of our building, which is licensed, and we understand that those there would be no retail cars back there. That facility is for storage of towed vehicles. We service both the local police as well as state police. And in the event of an accident or a violation tow, those vehicles get towed and stored behind our facility in the storage lot. And it's my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I apologize, but the 4 car restriction is cars offered for sale. Is that correct?
That's my understanding, yes.
That's the way we understood it as well.
Okay with that.
So now that we're on the same page, I guess my only other comment is I am 110% behind any business that is able to work its way through the pandemic and find other ways to generate revenue. So I applaud that effort, gentlemen. Mr. Chair, I have no more questions.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. Where does the restriction of 4 cars for sale come in? Is that already there, or are we going to add it as a condition? How's that going to happen, Michelle?
It is a zoning requirement. You could certainly add it as a condition, but it is part of your zoning data table where you have used cars being allowed in the industrial zone.
So they would be allowed to actually conclude the sale on site with this provision the way it is?
Again, this is a special exception. You can condition it however you want. They're aware that 4 is the maximum. If you feel that 2 is only appropriate on the site, you can condition it that way.
I mean, I have no problem with it. I just want to make sure we all understand what we're authorizing. Okay, you did explain all the cars in the back. I'm looking at the aerial that you sent us. Obviously there's quite a few cars back there. What happens when that lot is full?
We have a overflow lot in our Vernon location.
For the towing side, I mean, we also do East Windsor, South Windsor. We do Granby, and we do Through Page, and we also in Vernon Police.
So the stored vehicles are always going to be in that lot and that fenced in area, and then you have some parking spaces in front, which would be used for employees or for sales, or how does that? Where do the cars go that you're selling?
The 4 space allocation is directly across from our bay door, outside of the to the left of by the driveway there, not to encroach on our existing licensed neighbors' property or any of that. They're 2 separate entities. We are respectful of everybody's parking, and we encourage our employees to park inside the fenced-in and lot whenever possible.
Okay. Those are all of my questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Flag.
I have no further questions.
Hey, Commissioner Dexter.
I was just wondering if the applicant would consider keeping their Connecticut auto repair license, or is that just cost prohibitive?
No, I believe they're not getting rid of that. They're keeping that.
No, you either got one or the other one.
Correct. The way
Oh,
Connecticut.
pardon me.
No, that's okay. That's
It's all right.
It's all right. It's kind of a gray area, but the way Connecticut dealer repair section work at motor vehicle, they issue one of 3 licenses: a limited repair, which would be typically your oil change facilities; a full repair, which is what we currently have; and what we're seeking is a dealer license. So essentially, pending everything moving forward, we would be replacing the dealer license for our existing repair license.
Oh, repair.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Repair license would go to a dealer license.
And with a dealer license, you can't repair vehicles.
We can. It does include the repair of the vehicles.
Included, yeah.
Oh, it does include, oh, okay. Okay, so it's broader than you had before. Got
Same
it,
with
got
the
it.
towing.
Yep,
In
it
order to-
allows us to provide towing services, repair, and sale of the
Sounds
vehicles.
like a win-win for you guys, yeah. I
Hope
support.
Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that. Okay, is that it, Commissioner Dexter?
Commissioner Hart.
Okay. Commissioner Bonzani.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Arlett, to go on over some of the other commissioners' comments, what would be the average cars you would buy weekly? Was it like crazy amount, like, like 20? Would you have an idea of how many you plan on buying, or is it like how many, just to get an idea? Is it like 3 or 4 or anything like that?
Honestly, thinking 3 or 4. I mean, we're gonna keep it small. We're just trying to, like I said, extra revenue, trying to just keep it flow.
Okay, like I said, I just, like Commissioner Bernstein said, this is all new to me. It's crazy that you can buy one from an auction and then put on a truck and then bring it to another auction. But, I'm sure that's part of the business.
Well, that's part. That's also something else that we can do. We can buy a car, we can fix it up, we can run it through the auction. So it's all different opportunity that we're trying to bring to the shop.
Other than that, like I said, the other commissioners, it's great to see it, especially during this pandemic, a small business try to better themselves and try and make it. All set, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ernesto, I'm looking at a plan that was included in our package, and it has only the fenced-in area that I'm seeing, and I could be reading it incorrectly, but my understanding is there's 2 businesses running out of this building, and your business has the fenced-in area of the parking.
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yes, sir. We got the last bay, and then we got the big pen in the back. That will be separate from the first 2 bay. That's the body shop. That's the Eagle Collision Center.
Right. So the front business has all of the parking that's outside of the fenced-in area, correct?
Correct, sir.
Okay. I just want to make sure that all the commission knows. So there's no uncertainty. Okay. That's all I have. I'll check with staff. Is there anybody who has raised their hand to speak at this public hearing? Okay. All right, commissioners, is there any reason to keep the public hearing open?
No.
Okay. Staff, any reason to keep the public hearing open?
No, Chairman, all set.
No.
Okay, and, just want to make sure the applicant's all set.
Yes, we are.
Thank you. Yeah, we all set. Thank you, and
Okay.
thank you, Sarah, for all the info and help.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good night.
And you too. So, at this point, we'll close this public hearing at 7:55 PM, and we will be addressing this, later on in our deliberations. Okay, our next item is application 21-16P, Jessica Waterhouse. Could we let her in? And anybody she might have representing.
Hello,
Hello,
how are you today?
fine, thank you, and yourself?
Good. I will need to share pictures because it's easier for me to explain things when I can put the picture up. I know you have one, but
Okay, if you could, just for the record, introduce yourself. and
Okay.
then you can present your application.
all right. My name is Jessica Waterhouse. I live at 215 Main Street. And I am hoping to get approval for a special exception to start an animal sanctuary.
Okay. Do you have any hours of business or?
No, it's not really going to be a open business. What I'm looking for right now is to have volunteers come and work with the different animals that I am proposing to have. And so I'm up early in the morning because this is going to be my place of residence also. So people can come in as early as 7:30 and, you know, stay until dark because you can't do too much in the dark with these animals. And I'm going to pull up one of my pictures. Hopefully that's shared. Okay. So I'm trying to just share, everybody can see this picture?
Yep.
Okay, so a couple of concerns that might be addressed. I've spoken to my neighbors and gotten some ideas of how to address some of this. One, I know parking is going to be a consideration. So I'm not thinking that I'm going to have a ton of volunteers come at the beginning. And so I have parking, and this is a loop right around here. So I would have it almost like one way, you would like come in this way to park and then come out and around. I have thought about doing a few events, and I'm limiting it to 2 to be on the property. And if you come down this driveway, there's parking available right here and along this fence area. I would not expect a ton of people for events, but I have considered the parking right around here and here, as well as doing part of this driveway right around closest to the house. And I'd use this driveway portion right here as the exit. So there should not be anybody blocked in. Any type of vehicle that would need to get in could come right down this path that's pretty open. With the request, there's lots of different types of animals. I currently have dogs and cats here. And I would like, if I'm granted permission, I do have a horse that would like to reside here and a goat and a bunny. So far, I kept it wide open because I like to take in older animals or one that just needs a nice quiet retirement area. And I found that with volunteers, I've volunteered for Pack Leaders Rescue in East Hartford that works with dogs and cats for the last 4 years. And I have found volunteering is very rewarding, and sometimes it doesn't matter what your age is or how social you are. Animals do bring out the best in people, I have found. And I just would like to have a sanctuary that volunteers can come and help. And if this grows into something of other needs, I'd come back to the planning and zoning, but I'm not seeing this right now as an educational. I'm just trying to have a safe place for animals to make it nice for them. And I'll show you in another shot that I fenced in this area here that I did mark up in what I presented. So that's an open space for dogs to run. That way they're not in danger of getting through the fences or into the road or bothering anybody. I put it farther away from my closest neighbor, who would be right around this tree. And I have no neighbors to the side or the back. And that way, with this privacy fencing, I am not concerned about like any noise that they make on a regular basis. It is farther back. Again, I have great support from my neighbors. I have Circle J Farm diagonally across from me, and Sky's the Limit for performance horses. So they're going to help me with all the needs of a horse that I would like to get, and for getting the animal waste. Some of it I can compost, and I was thinking about this area over here that's not near the property line, but there is a foundation from an old barn that I've just kept right here. But there's spaces all along this side that I could use for composting and disposing of the animal waste that should not get into any of this wetlands that are behind me. I am about 9 feet up from the water. The Ponung River runs about right here. You see some water reflection there, but I think it's just the way the water is, and the Connecticut River is way in the back.
So you're 9 feet higher than the river?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
They had, the previous owners had built it up. And they did a lot of the work. So the fencing that I have for horses, that was already installed. It is electrified, and everything around is able to be electrified, and the outturns right here. You see this gray slab, that is actually professional horse ring. There are 2 lights right there. They just don't show up, they just blend in, but I would like that to use for some dog agility. Some of the dogs that I've worked with, they just need to burn out some energy and run up and down some of the obstacles. They have jumps, and I have somebody that works at the dog rescue that has items that they'll donate to me. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can cover any of the other questions. There is 4 stalls in this barn. I am not trying to overwhelm and stuff it with every type of animal, but what I do see is that I'd have 2 stalls with these outturns here for a horse and maybe a donkey or whatever other needs, because I'm going to be looking for animals that need a home. I'm going to have goats that will be able to come out in this pasture. And then I'll have 1 more that's going to be an open stall, and I would like to use that for emergency purposes. And an example would be when Ellington, a farmer, lost his whole barn due to a fire, and they needed to do an emergency placement. I'd like to be able to offer that to someone for free, because they're going to be really upset losing that property, and so I want to be able to aid others as needed. In the back, there's a building that I have to fix up if possible, and keep chickens out there. We're going to see how feasible having the chickens are, but I figured that it's going to help with my dogs because they eat ticks, and they'll produce eggs, and I would like to be able to donate a portion to the eggs to some of the great citizens that have worked with the homeless. So that would be one of my ideas. As of Saturday, I've lived here for 1 year, and I am super excited. I didn't think that I'd be able to have my dream property. I was really thinking this was going to be another 10 years down the road, and this property came up, and I have so appreciated the outpouring of support that I received. This picture, which is not included because I just took it the other day, this shows what I call my own private dog park. And I do have some shelter right here. So if the dogs, like, if I missed when I'm inside and it started to rain, they could go right into these areas that are very portable chain linked fences that with a little cover. In the summertime, this is all trees, so there's plenty of shade for the animals, and there's constant water available to all the animals in there. In the barn, they set up a system. I'm still trying to learn how to work it, but they do have automated water systems set up in the barns for horses or whatever animals that will be in there. And I'd be happy to answer any types of questions that you may have.
Okay, we'll get back to you on that. At this time, we'll turn to our town staff, our Director of Planning, Michelle Webb.
Thank you. This is a request for a special exception to section 7.12.2 to create an animal sanctuary to be known as Missoula Animal Sanctuary on property located at 215 Main Street in their A40 zone. As the commission may recall, this is a recent addition to your zoning regulations with your update to your commercial animal agricultural regulations. We allow this by special exception in the applicant identifying animals and providing a narrative as to the proposed use on the property. This property is about 3.8 acres in size. There were previous approvals granted for horses for personal use back in 2005, and barns in an outdoor arena were approved at that time by this commission. The current proposal is to operate the sanctuary by utilizing existing barn, fenced areas, outbuildings. You have a narrative that includes the mission of the animal sanctuary, a map of the property, pictures, as well as the presentation tonight. Again, this is a special exception and is subject to your special exception criteria of section 8.7. The applicant has provided a specific number of animals proposed to be cared for, including 2 horse, donkey, pony. I think an alpaca may be included in that number. 4 goat or sheep, 12 chickens, 2 rabbit, 2 pigs. Domestic animals include 12 dogs, 4 cats, and the potential for caged birds and or reptiles. Again, the animals are proposed to be kept in the fenced areas in the existing barn and turnouts currently on the site. There are no new structures proposed at this time. However, the applicant did indicate that there may be a kennel proposed to be added in the future. The sanctuary will not be open to the public. Volunteers will care for the animals. The applicant does not plan any public activities. However, 2 fundraising events are planned annually. The events will be small in nature and by invitation only, based on my conversation with Jessica. The applicant has indicated she is parking for at least 15 vehicles on site around the circle. Future programs may be educational programs and additional fundraising type events. She and I did talk briefly about that with the understanding that at this time, the proposal is for 2 events a year, and that my recommendation would be the commission would, any future planning would come back to the commission for future approvals. As part of our review, we did contact our local health department as well as our local animal control officer and the state animal control officer for input on this application. I did provide in the written report to the commission comments from Dean Gates, who's the state animal control officer. So he had several recommendations, and I'm going to read these into the record. He has also provided us kind of with a synopsis of what statutes may apply for aspects of this. So if you can bear with me, I'm going to read a couple things from Dean into the record for your benefit. So dogs are considered to be, as part of the sanctuary, will be living out their lives on this property. It would be required to be licensed in the town. The dog is surrendered so as to be rehomed. It would be a rescue dog, as it would not be living permanently on the property, and the rehoming may fall into the definition of being a pet shop facility. This may also be true if a mother dog is taken into the property and puppies are later sold. Any dog in their custody or care that is 6 months or older will need to be licensed with the town. Secondly, if it's intention of the sanctuary to accept donations or have a donate button on the webpage, they'll need to register with Connect Department of Consumer Protection as a charity. Compliance may also be required, but is not under the authority of the state of Connecticut. It's a federal 501c3 compliance. Recommend that any zoning approval include in writing the maximum number and type of animals that is agreed upon, along with a stipulation to allow inspection by the municipal animal control officer, zoning enforcement officer, or their designee to ensure compliance with the numbers of animals and to ensure that proper animal husbandry is being practiced. Additional permits may be required by other state or federal agencies if the property is used for educational purposes. This should be determined by management of the sanctuary prior to operating in this capacity. I have shared all these comments with Jessica, and we've had the discussion about that. So we do have a letter that you'll be reading into the record tonight, questioning what licensing would be necessary for this application. So we did ask Dean Gates to clarify for us specifically, and I do have an email that he gave us today. He says that all imported dogs need to have a health certificate for the state of origin. That's section 22-354. The importation of dogs into the state for resale requires a pet shop facility license. The importer license is for a rescue that is registered charity and operating as a non-for-profit. All adult dogs need to have a town license. If they breed more than 2 litters a year, they need to have a town kennel license for dogs that are kept under one ownership for show, sport, or sale. And all dogs over the age of 3 months need to have rabies vaccinations. The only other comment I have for you is the fire marshal did review this application. He has no concerns at this time. Again, in the future, if it is going to be opened up to the public, we would request the applicant return to the commission to review any codes, fire codes that may have to be addressed at that time. If this application is approved, the planning department has no further recommendations on the draft approval condition sheet tonight. I did reference several of the things by Dean Gates. I think as an addendum to those conditions, I would suggest adding what he gave us today as far as what statutes apply to this type of application. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. At this time, we'll turn to our town engineer, Jeff Doolittle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have no questions on this application.
Okay, then at this time, we will ask Mike from IT if there's anybody from the public that would like to talk about this, ask questions. Okay, and I'll remind the public if they do want to get on the phone and to press *3, and the WebEx call-in number is 855-925-2801. Okay, at this time, I will turn to commissioners. Commissioner Bonzani.
Chairman, you do have letters to read into it.
We have a bunch of letters.
Yeah, our secretary will read them at this time.
Well, all right. Okay, first one says, to the Planning and Zoning Commission of the Town of South Windsor. I am a lifelong resident of South Windsor. Please consider the following reviewing application 21-16P Jessica Waterhouse. Request for a special exception to section 7.12.2 to create an animal sanctuary to be known as Missoula Animal Sanctuary on property located at 215 Main Street, A-40 zone. Has or will the applicant provide descriptions of formal degrees, certifications, titles, and experience in large and small animal husbandry and training for herself and her staff, in addition to the 4 years of experience listed in her application. Provide references from veterinarians. Obtain a kennel license from the town of South Windsor per town and state requirements. Apply for an animal shelter license from the state of Connecticut. Describe plans for compliance with the state of Connecticut animal importer regulations for any dogs or cats that come from outside the state of Connecticut. She said reference state of Connecticut Public Act 17-167. Sincerely, Karen Bushell, licensed official, United States Equestrian Federation. First one. Stephanie has a couple too.
Okay, I'll go next. This is an email from Noah Frank, no address given. Good evening. My name is Noah Frank, and I'm the chair and founder of South Windsor Future Leaders in Politics. This is a collective of students and young residents advocating for change within our community. I'm pleased to write to you tonight in support of creating the Missoula Animal Sanctuary on 215 Main Street. This beautiful stretch of property is not only home to a number of animals, but it's a prime location in the heart of historic South Windsor for a sanctuary to be. This sanctuary would be the first of its kind within our community and would be a unique addition to the character of our town. Vice Chairwoman Waterhouse is the right person to help bring this development forward, and her passion will see this sanctuary grow into a larger operation with greater community support, investment, and volunteering. This proposal would be a smart addition within our greater historic district. I'm delighted to support this application. I urge its passage within this commission. Approving the new Missoula Animal Sanctuary will not only help connect South Windsor's future to our agricultural past, but it will pave a new way forward for smart development.
Okay.
Okay, this next one is from Daria P at AOL.com to planning zoning comments. Good evening, Chairman Pasiconis and members of the South Windsor Planning and Zoning Commission. I am writing in support of the special exception to the section 7.12.2 request asked by Jessica Waterhouse to create an animal sanctuary at 215 Main Street. Her request is looked upon favorably by this community as it goes beyond what our own Gary Tyler no-kill shelter can provide and do. Jessica has volunteers in place to support and help her with not only her temporary rescue housing, but with those few other animals who will call 215 Main Street the forever home in this rescue sanctuary. Goodness and kindness comes in life in many ways. Saving animals, especially those mistreated, abandoned, or otherwise in extreme need of care in a home, is beyond special. Few are able to do this. One of our own, Jessica Waterhouse, will make this happen with your approval. I will sincerely ask that you grant her this special exception. Thank you very much. Respectfully, Daria Plummer, 235 Orchard Hill Drive.
The next is an email from Dwight Johnson of 84 Bryan Road, South Windsor, to the people on P&Z. I am in favor of the animal sanctuary on Main Street, South Windsor for Jessica Waterhouse. Thank you, Dwight Johnson.
All right. This one is from Ann Lango at yahoo.com to planning and zoning comments. Hello. I am writing to express my support for the animal sanctuary that is under consideration on Main Street. Ms. Jessica Waterhouse is dedicated and passionate about rehabilitation of animals. Her property is ideal for the purpose, and she will make sure that this very worthy endeavor is a success. Yours sincerely, Anita Alango, 108 Lisa Drive, South Windsor, Connecticut. And then there was another one that was in our package. To whom it may concern, I, Iana Hondros McCarthy, own the property adjacent to Jessica Waterhouse at 223 Main Street. I am aware and fully in support of Ms. Waterhouse's request to be allowed to have an animal sanctuary on her property. I believe as a human population, we are all too often dismissive of the needs of other species on the planet. And so allowing someone to care for previously poorly cared for creatures or just animals in need of a home is the least we can do. I very much hope you give Ms. Waterhouse permission to have an animal sanctuary on her property. Sincerely, Iana Hondros McCarthy. Those are the letters, Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much. That was under communications. Now I'll ask you if there's any questions, concerns that you have with this application. Commissioner Bonzani. It's your turn, my friend.
Right to me, huh? I looked this over. The property's perfect. He wants to do an excellent thing. I'm an animal lover, like probably everybody else is, and I mean, it's just there's just no doubt about it that this is a perfect thing to do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Dexter.
I agree. The property is perfect. I think it would be wonderful to have this in our town. Jessica, I kind of apologize, and I really don't have to, but for about all the regulations and licensing and everything else, they're gonna put you through, this is what government does sometimes. But I know you'll get through it and you'll persevere. So I think it's a great thing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Flagg.
Yes, I think the same way as the other commissioners, Jessica. I think it's a wonderful thing, and I think it's going to go over very, very well. And in the place that it is, I think you're going to get a lot of people that will come down and look, and it's a good thing to happen in South Windsor, and I'm glad for you. I have no further questions.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. So, first of all, I like the idea of this thing. I think it's a great idea. I'm a little confused or concerned. There seem to be a lot of numbers being thrown around about how many of this species, how many of that species, and we didn't have at least I didn't find a motion that would list the how many are being allowed. And for that matter, I don't know. I mean, if this is just farm property, how many they could have there. I know that 712-2 is really turning it into a commercial facility, but I'm thinking maybe we ought to hold the meeting open, have the applicant and Michelle get together, give us a motion with whatever limits they want to commit to. And then we can come back to the public hearing and in the next meeting and put forward that motion. I'm a little reluctant to. Is there a motion in?
Yeah, all of that has been provided, Steve.
All right. Well, I guess I lost it. There's an awful lot of paper here.
Yeah.
Is that in the email or?
No, it was part of our package.
Where is it?
It was all paper clipped together. You know, but you'll have time to take a look at it while the other commissioners, or look for it while the other commissioners are.
Maybe Michelle could, oh, there it is. This is the planning department report. Maybe Michelle, you could, oh, here it is. Okay. All right, never mind.
Okay. Did you have anything else, Steve?
No.
Okay. Then I will turn to Commissioner Bernstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, like a number of us, I do know the applicant, and I believe that her compassion for these animals is about as sincere as it gets. I don't know that there's anyone else that I know who could pull this endeavor off, and I applaud her. I like Chairman Commissioner Bonzani said, I'm an animal lover, like so many of us. I do have a couple howevers. And Jessica, I read the write-up that came with the package, and in reading it, the thing that struck me is this is a lot of work.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to, I mean, you read it, and what strikes you is it's a lot of work just dealing with the animals. But frankly, I think there's at least as much work when you engage in all of your online activities, your website, and your fundraising, and so forth. So I guess what I would want you to have is comfort in knowing that you will have the volunteer people that you need to pull this off, because I'm assuming that you're not giving up your day job to do this.
Not yet. No, but if you look in the packet, I do have a board of directors.
I saw that.
So they do have each little missions, and I have assigned people to keep up with the social media, because I know I can't do this by myself. And that's why I'm really thinking the sanctuary can be a sanctuary for not just the animals, but for people and volunteers. I've actually already gotten several phone calls about wanting to volunteer, and I'm just telling people I want to make sure that it gets approved through your commission and that I get the proper insurance, and I have the proper insurance lined up for such.
Okay, well,
one clarification is that when I take in, like, I call them the fosterers. I'm working with Pack Leaders Rescue, or if there's another rescue that comes to me, I would only be keeping these foster animals from anywhere from like one night to maybe a week. I'm not looking for long term. I'm just helping so the dogs don't have to be in that facility area. I have lots of space to run. I'm there 24/7. So one of the dogs that I did foster, she was on seizure medication, so I was able to monitor her. And so with some of the experience that I had is I specialized over at Pack Leaders. It was through a certification, but I worked with a rehabber. So dogs that were more aggressive, I was able to determine what their level of comfort is. Is it like a food aggression versus doesn't like dogs? And so I have been through all that for the last 4 years. So I am not looking to sell dogs. When I say maybe rehome them, I have had people contact me, you know, my circumstances have changed. I just need to rehome my dog. I would like to have my website be able to have that. And so, yes, I know volunteers, and I've worked so closely with so many people that my board of directors, they're on board on helping me with this. Because again, this is a team effort.
Well, that's great to know. You brought up something that I want to ask about. I know that when I take my cat to the vet, based on what they charge me, I think the vet goes out and buys a Mercedes-Benz.
Oh, yes.
Do you have some way to provide medical care for these animals that isn't going to, you know, cost an arm and a leg?
Yes, I've actually budgeted that. I probably will not going on a vacation anytime in the near future, but that's part of the reasons why I would like to do the fundraising, is to have, because I know what I can afford for normal, everything's okay, but I also know that I put some aside already for this, that if there's an emergency. I just actually had my dog, since I had the foster have a seizure, I recognized the signs. I brought her right to the vet. So I do have a budget for emergencies for those animals, but I am going to be looking for the fundraising events to help support that. I'm also going to do like an Amazon wish list. I'm hoping to do it with Chewy.com to help with some of the other needs of the animals. But I'm in the process of getting the nonprofit status, and I should hear about that. My attorney said in a month or month and a half, and that would really help having that nonprofit status so people could donate. And I get that there's so many scams out there that people might be hesitant. So if they want to donate dog food or cat food or blankets, paper towels, I mean, there's a long way people can help support, and people can come walk a dog. I know exactly what my dog's temperaments are. Do you want to walk a dog? Do you want to play fetch for an hour? I have plenty of dogs that want to just play fetch, have that human connection. And I think, and people think I'm crazy that I have as many dogs as I do. And I said, I can't picture my life without any one of them. They all have a special part that they bring to me. So whether it's, I easily can have 5 dogs sitting on the couch with me watching TV. And that just brings me joy. And I'd love to be able to share that. And seeing an animal who had been in a bad situation, whether they've been physically abused or had some disabilities, all of a sudden they choose me. And that's how I have my dogs. I don't have a breed. The dogs have chosen me when I've had space, and I've actually turned dogs away because I'm not the right fit for every single dog.
So clearly your passion comes through. So I'll just end it by saying thank you for doing God's work. And that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner LeBlanc.
So thank you. I don't have any comments, and God, your efforts are really appreciated, and I certainly fully support this. And God, your compassion is unparalleled. That's quite a feat you're doing, and Yeah, it's pretty amazing, I have to say. You have the right site for it, and I think it's a great thing for the community. And I wish you the best of luck with everything.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, and Commissioner McGuire.
Thank you, Chair. Jessica, this is a lovely idea, and we know your love for animals, and I know you put a lot of thought into this. I do have a few questions, though, kind of just to clarify in my mind exactly what you're doing. Even the word sanctuary. So what is a sanctuary? Is it for sick animals, injured animals, animals that are unwanted? I mean, what is the definition of the sorts of why animals would come to you?
They're in need. That's the basic. I'm not looking to let's rehabilitate them and find them another home. I found that the animals I have, they've been through something. Now, granted, there's a goat that that's looking to come here, but it's because I found out male goats are not wanted for many goat farms because they get too many males and they get aggressive. And so if I don't adopt this goat, hopefully this goat farmer would go to other avenues, but it could end up that they go to auction. And sometimes when animals go to auction, they don't end up at the right places. So I am limiting myself based on space and what I can handle and what volunteers I have. I am considering that, but I just want this to be a safe place that animals don't feel like they're being bounced around. And it can be a retirement home. It can be a place where they're healing, whether it's their soul or their injuries. One of the bunnies that I'm looking at, the mother ate half of one ear and no one wants him. And so I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly what I want. That's the kind of bunny I want is, the unwanted animals to have a safe place and have affection, get people to play with them, because a lot of people, they might not be able to afford a dog or a cat or a bunny or like pet a horse or something. And I'd like them to volunteer, and it'd be great for families who are thinking about getting an animal. They can come here and see how much work it really is. Working with the rescue, we've gotten dogs returned. In fact, I fostered one overnight a couple of weeks ago. They didn't realize that the puppy was going to get bigger. And so they bring the dogs back. So I would love to have someone volunteer saying, look, my family's looking about getting maybe a puppy or a dog. Come here for a couple of days and see how much work a puppy or a dog takes. So I see this as a great learning experience for volunteers to give back to animals, but the animals actually give back to all of us.
So the animals are going to find you. And then the challenge will be to whether you'll be able to accept them or not, right? Because there might be a point at which, for a lot of different reasons, space, whatever limits we might place, on the sanctuary. And so then my other question is, so I guess there's a lot of different scenarios, but would you expect that some would live out their life there, others would be adopted? Will it vary animal to animal?
It will. Like right now, the dogs I have, they're not going anywhere. The horse, I don't see the horse going anywhere, or any of the, I really don't see them at this moment. Now, as time evolves, my dogs, half of them are seniors and half of them are like under 5. So, I'm not looking to just replace to maintain a number. I really need to know what is needed that comes my way.
Because you have specific numbers, right, in the literature. It's very possible you might get filled up.
Yeah, that's very possible. But through my work, I'm hoping to be able to make connections. And like right now, I have a wonderful street, and I've actually gotten the assistance. One of them, they're coming to help me set up the perfect stall for the horse, to make sure I have all the needs. And make sure that I'm aware of everything. And we've been talking for the last few months. And so I've been able to understand the needs of that. And if I'm full, I will do my best to reach out to my connections, because that's what we do in the work. Like, I know rescues, they talk to each other. They said, look, I need to have you transport this animal. Or I think that's a big part of being in this community, is finding places for the animals, such as the rehoming. If it's an emergency that someone has to get rid of an animal, yes, I will help them rehome the animal. I'm not looking to be compensated for stuff like that. It's, I think, making connections to the right people.
Okay, thank you very much. Your heart's in the right place. I'm all set, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Jessica, one of the letters had asked, from the public, your qualifications. Do you have any documented qualifications?
See, that's one thing. I am not looking to sell dogs. I'm not looking to professionally train dogs. So I don't know what kind of certifications they're looking for. I mean, I have a great support with someone that is a certified dog trainer. He's one of them that he works at the dog rescue. So I've been working side by side with him. So I am not looking to do that on my property. So with the horses, I don't know if they would ask a horse farmer, what are your certifications? So
yeah, and you know, the person might be thinking of some other aspects, like if you're going to be giving riding or lessons or something like that. And I understand what your intent is. I do. Now, just as far as the horse, and I know you're kind of new to horses, do you have an on-call vet who will come out to your property?
Yes, I'm actually, that's what I'm working with. One of the farms that are down the street. That was one of the questions. I actually made sure that I know someone that will take care of a goat, someone that will take care of the horse, a farrier. I have my own vet for the smaller domestic animals. I have her cell number, so I can call her. And I do have other vets, so if she's not like available, and she's willing and she's actually willing to come to my place because I have dogs and cats, and it's easier for her to come out for an hour and a half to see everybody than me trying to bring a bunch of them different times. So I work with River Valley Vet, and she's willing to come here. And then I don't have the documentation, but I do have for horses and other farm animals.
Okay, great. All right. I'm going to ask town staff, Mike from IT, if there's been anybody from the public that has asked to say anything. One more time. Okay, great. Thank you, Jessica. Commissioners, is there any reason to keep this public hearing open? This special meeting, public hearing?
No.
Nope.
Okay, staff?
All set, Chair.
Okay. And Jess, is there anything else you want to say, or are you all
I'm just
set?
very excited about this prospect. So this is a dream of mine. So I appreciate all of your time and kind words.
Okay, thank you very much. So, hearing no other input, we will close this public hearing at 8:38. And thank you. We'll move on to our next item, which is for public hearing, application 21-17P, Monique DeMage, doing business as Precisely Pandas. If they could be let in to present their application.
Mike, if you could also let Suzanne Choate in, please.
Good
Hey.
evening, all. Hi there.
Good evening. Do you have video?
Hold on. I think I do now.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. If you could introduce yourself and present your application.
Sure. Good evening. My name is Monique Delmadge. I am the owner of Precisely Pandas Daycare. I currently operate in Manchester, and I'm looking to utilize the property in South Windsor at 1033 John Fitch, which some may remember as the old Bank of America. I also have Suzanne Choate on, who will do some part of the presentation, and then I can add in additionally. But I currently operate a home daycare, and I'm looking to expand to hopefully into that property to about 36 children, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5:30 in terms of business operation. But I'll hand it over to Suzanne at this time if there's anything else.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, I am Suzanne Choate with Design Professionals. Glad to see you all. I'm here representing Monique, as she just said. The property we're looking at is 1033 John Fitch Boulevard. It's on the southwest corner of Governor's Highway and Route 5. It was the old Bank of America building, and it is currently sitting vacant on about an acre property. We're here for a special exception use for a proposed daycare. The special criteria narrative, Monique did submit a narrative indicating how all of the criteria have been met. I don't think I'm going to go through every single point, but it is an existing site that covers quite a bit of it. The changes to the site that she is proposing include a fenced-in play area. So actually, can I share my screen to show you the site plan?
Yes, Mike, could you make that happen? Okay, you should be all set.
Da, da, da. Okay. So the bank building, can you see my hand as well when I go over something?
I can't, but
Maybe not everybody. Okay, this is the bank building here. Route 5 is along the left side. Governor's Highway is along the top. Existing parking lot, there are no proposed changes to that. The play area I was just mentioning is here. It is an existing grassed island, and the fence along the parking area and the drive would be opaque. The fence along adjacent to the building would be chain link so that there is visibility between the building and the play area. The existing traffic patterns would be maintained. There are these drive-through lanes, used to be a bank, so they had these drive-through lanes that will be utilized as drop-off and pickup lanes. School buses will be directed to come along the rear and drive through the front. There's also this, these arrows, the painted arrows exist on the pavement right now, so they'll be directed along the front of the building, stopping near the entrance to be guided into the building. We spoke with town staff last week, and they indicated they would be looking for narrowing this drive next to Governor's Highway, and we are willing to accommodate that as an approval condition, willing to work with staff to their satisfaction. And I'll go back to Monique in case there's anything I missed.
Other than that, that's pretty much the layout. I also, in the future, I know that there's a need that we'd like to meet in South Windsor regarding childcare in general, but also the after-school care. So that would be primarily, I believe, where that busing would take place for those students or those children.
Okay, does that complete your presentation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, then we will turn to our town staff, our town planner, Michelle Lake.
Thank you. This is a request for a special exception to table 4.1.1A and section 7.4 to operate a daycare out of the existing building, formerly known as the Bank of America building, property located 1033 John Fitch Boulevard in the industrial zone. The applicant's proposing to have up to 36 children, aged 6 weeks to 12 years old, for daily service before and after school care. They're proposing to have between 6 to 10 staff members. Hours of operation will be 7 to 5:30, Monday through Friday, with the possibility of changing hours as demands change. I would note that special exceptions for daycares in industrial and commercial zones, we do have some specific criteria that the applicant has addressed through her narrative, as well as your general special exception criteria. So I'm going to read into the record the specific things we look for in our industrial and commercial zones. We look for no safety hazards to be created, particularly with respect to access into and out of the site and or building. Any outdoor play area must be substantially level and suited to playground use. Any outdoor play area must be located on the site in an area that is removed from any possibility of encroachment by vehicular accidents on adjoining streets. There must be adequate parking to accommodate any anticipated heavy patronage functions, such as open house, recitals, plays. A school bus turnaround must be provided if any children will be brought to the center by school bus. The surrounding environment must be reasonably free of industrial, commercial pollutants and excessive noise at the time of application. And there must be reasonable expectation that the surrounding area will remain free of pollutants in the future. The surrounding environment must be reasonably and physically and verbally non-threatening to children and staff at the time of application. There must be reasonable expectation that the surrounding area will remain non-threatening in the future. If the daycare is to be a separate building on the site, must be screened from adjoining sites to the standards in 6.2.4B buffer requirements. As I mentioned, in addition, it is subject to your special exception criteria, and conditions can be placed in order to meet some of those criteria. The applicant site plan does show 33 parking spaces available on the site. The area is designated for employee parking further away from the building, leaving the spaces closest to the building for children drop-off. There are 3 drop-off lanes being established. An internal walkway marking is on the pavement. So these are existing pavements currently on the site out there. As noted, there's 2 existing curb cuts off Governor's Highway and 1 off Route 5 that currently service the site. We did have a concern with the entrance closest to the Governor's Highway. When you look at the traffic pattern in there, our concern was with exiting buses and other vehicle traffic and the potential for vehicles turning in. So we've asked the applicant to choke down that entrance to allow for exit-only traffic and to sign it as such to say do not enter from Governor's Highway. The site is currently serviced by public water and sewer. Water Pollution Control Authority is not required for the change of use. However, the applicant should contact Tony Manfrey, the Superintendent of Pollution Control, regarding daycare sewer service. The applicant's proposing to use existing space and building, will work with the building, fire, and health department on daycare code requirements and the state licensing procedures. The applicant has designated a grassy area near the rear of the building for an outdoor play area with a 6-foot fence, opaque fence around the perimeter. This area is away from the adjoining streets and intersection, one of the criteria that we do have in the regulations. The applicant is allowed both a freestanding sign and a building sign. Any proposed signage will need a sign permit and must comply with section 6.57 of the zoning regulations. If this application is approved, the planning department has no additional modifications to request. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll turn to our town engineer, Jeff Doolittle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have one comment on this application, and it is a comment. I understand the applicant is not planning to change the pavement. I will comment that there is a lot of pavement on this site. The impervious coverage is quite high on this site by variance. And I would request, if possible, either with this applicant or in the future, some pavement be removed. There's extra pavement, and some could be removed without changing the number of parking spaces on site. So I just ask that that be considered either now or in the future on this site.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any communications from the public?
We did not receive any emails either.
Okay. Then at this time, I will turn to commissioners. Commissioner McGuire.
I don't have any questions yet, Bart. I may, but not yet. Thank you.
And you're always welcome to come at the end.
Thank you.
add
I hate being the first one.
So does Frank. Okay, Commissioner LeBlanc.
No comments at this time either, but thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Bernstein.
A few questions. Is there any plan to do anything to the building? Or leave it entirely as it is?
The building will remain entirely, the external of the building will remain entirely as it is. Is that your question?
Yeah, I just, in my mind's eye, just the idea of a daycare with drive-up windows just seems a little strange to me, but I would have imagined that maybe you would do some modifications to the building, but I'm hearing not. The other thing, and I know Michelle mentioned fencing, I'm real interested if maybe you could bring up the drawing to show me the area that's fenced in. That I have a real security concern about kids, and again, it's at the intersection of one very busy road and one somewhat busy road.
You should
So-
have that drawing as part of your
I do?
package. But
Okay. So I'm taking
the
after
applicant can bring
Commissioner
it back up
Wagner.
and maybe-
All right, well, I don't want to waste the commission's time, then I'll look into that and just listen in. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. The play area, I mean, we already heard a concern about impervious coverage. Is the play area going to remain grass, or are you going to pave that to, or put down some other kind of surface for the children? You know, if the play area will have equipment on it, what's going to happen to the surface of the play area?
So for right now, in the beginning, we're just gonna have maybe some mulch or rubber mulch put down for that open play area. Or that fenced in play area.
I think when we did a field, an artificial turf field, there was some rubber mulch of some sort that was used, and there was a whole lot of controversy in that, and I think we ended up not doing that. I'm not quite sure what the technical issues are or remain with whatever you're going to put down, but maybe our town engineer Jeff Doolittle can discuss that. But I am concerned that, I mean, if you're going to put something on that, does that make it impervious, and does that add to the problem of impervious coverage? And again, I'll ask Jeff Doolittle to comment on that, or Ms. Coate.
Okay, well, right now, by the plans, it's an open lawn play area. I don't think there's any requirement for them to do anything additional.
Yeah, they're not proposing to change the impervious coverage, either reduce it or increase it.
Right.
And if they were to put down rubber, she just said she was thinking of putting down rubber chips or whatever they're called. That would not change the character of the impervious coverage.
No, it would not, because water would drain through it.
Okay. And I'm just delighted to see a use coming with that building. I guess I kind of was a little mystified about having to drop off through those drive-through lanes, and obviously you don't have a door there. But they're gonna walk out and use that crosswalk to get to the door in the front.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just I happen to have 2 grandchildren who have daycare issues. They won't be able to use your facility because they live in Texas, but I know how important this is to the community and to allowing people to have jobs and so on. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Commissioner Flagg.
Yeah, I was just curious about one thing on the inside. What is the area of the safe and safety deposit boxes with so much, heavy doors and everything? What's that going to be used for?
For now, it was just planned to be used for additional storage, as all, and also a safety shelter if needed.
Okay. Would you plan on disabling those locks or something in case?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, the locks would be disabled, or we would think of a proper way to have it safe for children, but also be utilized for the building's use and dual purpose. That safe is going to be a hard press to remove or in any case. So we would utilize it as best as possible in the safest manner for both the adults and the children in the building.
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Dexter.
I just have one question. Maybe Michelle can help me out on the special exception requirements. There's 2 bullets that talk about the surrounding environment. Must be reasonably free of pollutants and noise and so forth. Across Governor's Highway there, we quite a while ago changed that whole corner to a travel center.
That's correct. You approved a Prime gas station on that corner. It has not yet gone into construction.
Is that still in the on the drawing board?
It is still an approved project, yes.
It is, okay. So that doesn't have any impact for noise or pollutants or anything else with the requirements of this application? That's a question?
No, I would say not.
All right, beautiful. Good luck.
Okay, Commissioner Bonzani.
Yeah, a couple comments. Great location for a daycare, easy in and out, no site issues or corner site issues to get into this site, which I really like. The only question I have is goes back to Commissioner Bernstein's comments. It is such a busy street. I same as Mr. Bernstein. I have a little difficulty with the fenced-in area. When you come out of the building, are you gonna go right into the play area, or you got to walk through a little bit, like, what I mean? Or is it gonna be just so the kid can't get hold hands with a teacher and then like run away? And I'm trying to figure that out on the plan. Is it like right there, like from the door, maybe a little walkway, or how does that work?
Great question. So yes, there's a rear entrance or exit into that play area. There will be a fenced in small walkway that will lead into that larger, so there's no risk of that child letting go of the teacher's hand and being in danger.
Oh, great. It's hard for me to see that on here. That's just gonna be a nice fence and walkway to the play area.
Yes.
Perfect. Like Commissioner Wagner said, definitely need it in town, and I really like the the location. Main Street is the best, but it's going to be a good thing for town. Thank you very much. All set, Commissioner Chairman.
Okay, thank you. I just have 2 things. One, there's currently a lunch wagon that works on that site, and I see it's still parked there. I'm just wondering, I just want to confirm that they'll be relocating someplace else.
Is that question to me?
Sure.
Oh, okay. I would hope they would relocate somewhere else as well.
I can tell you that they're permitted to be further down Governor's Highway. They take liberties of coming to the corner. So they actually need to move down Governor's Highway to be in compliance.
Yeah, and I understand that they also store their vehicle at this site overnight. So
we'll have some discussions with the owner on that.
Okay, awesome. And Monique, do you plan on having any special events?
No, not in the foreseeable future. I mean,
Okay, because my question would have been, if you are having any special events, how are you gonna address parking? But if you're not having any, that's it. I just want to get that on the record that we discussed that. Okay? Okay. I do not have any other questions. Commissioners, do you have any other questions, comments before we close the public hearing? I'm not hearing any, so I'll ask town staff, is there any reason to keep the public hearing open?
No, I don't think so, Chair.
No.
And just one more time to IT, there's nobody on the line? Nobody with their hand up? Okay. Is the applicant all set with their presentation? And okay. Then at this time, we will close the public hearing at 9 p.m. and hopefully we'll be addressing this later this evening. Thank you. So at this time, I'll call the regular meeting of the special meeting for Planning and Zoning Commission for Tuesday, April 20th, 2021 to order. Our first item on our business is, it says new business, but I don't see our line for public participation. So I'm just going to say it. Is there anyone from the public who would like to bring up anything that is not? Oh, Michelle, can we do that with a special meeting?
Actually, no, special meeting. That's why we did not put it on.
Okay, thank you for that correction. Commissioners, we have about a half an hour left in this meeting, so I would appreciate if anybody is commenting if we cut through the fluff and get right to the meat and potatoes of any issue, okay? So, under new business, our first item is Connecticut General Statute Referral 8-24 for the Pleasant Valley School. Do we have somebody here to present that?
Yes, we do have Michael Coletta, Matt Montana, Jim Barrett, and Chuck Warrington.
Good evening. This is Jim Barrett, DRA Architects.
Okay.
And Chuck Warrington with Collier's Project Leaders, attending with Jim Barrett as well. We're the owner's rep for the PBC.
Okay, is Mr. Montana there also?
Yes, it's Matthew Montana, Chairperson of Public Building Commission.
Okay. Feel free to do your presentation. Thank you.
All right, Jim, I'm gonna.
Chuck, would you mind sharing?
Sure. Absolutely. If we can
Thank you.
have sharing rights.
Okay, you're on, Chuck.
All right. All right, can you see that all right there, Jim? Everybody?
I can.
Okay, so do you want to go to floor plan or site plan, Jim?
We can start with this as an overview. We are located along Ellington Road, Route 30. And the proposal is for a new elementary school, approximately 102,000 square foot facility. The intention is to have entry from Ellington Road for parent drop-off and have that traffic return out to Ellington Road. The exit will incorporate both dedicated left-hand turn and right turn exit points. There will be entry from Long Hill Road opposing that, primarily bus entry, arrival coming into the site, turning down as the cursor is moving along to the bus entry drop-off, the loop, and then return out in the same. There's also a staff parking located in that same vicinity. There's one additional kind of parking zone, and that is dedicated to the POP IPOP program. And you see the drop off for that with the arrows indicating the drop off along the curb for parent drop off. There is also some dedicated parking there for parents end of day pickup. They park and do walk into the facility to pick up their children from that particular program. Within the site, there are 3 dedicated play areas. The first associated with the POP IPOP, where the cursor is located to the north of this site there. There is a dedicated kindergarten and grade 1 facility to the south, as the cursor is indicating, and then a 2 to 5 playscape located where the cursor is currently moving. Paved area is immediately to the right of that 2 to 5 play area. It's a hard surface playscape. And also immediately to the right of that hard surface played area is the service area for the facility. Chuck, I don't know if you can pan down. Oh, actually, we're all the way down on this. Okay. This is the southern portion of the site. To the left-hand side of the site, where it identifies future multi-purpose playfield. That is approximately the location of the existing Pleasant Valley school site. What is identified within the area is planning for potential future softball, future multi-purpose and free play areas within that zone. As part of the base scope of work for the new school construction, the intention is to have this leveled lawn or seeded to provide a play lawn. And as part of the scope of work, there will be access provided down to the lower areas. Chuck, if you can bring up overall first floor plan. This is our first floor plan. We'll start in the upper left-hand quadrant. That entry point is in fact where the parent drop-off and arrival will occur. As you enter the building, immediately to your left is the general office, principal, health suite, etc. And immediately beyond that, the media center. And to the right-hand corner, as you move down, there is STEM and the grade 1 grade grouping within that zone. Top street across from the main entry is what we call Main Street, that leads over directly to the bus drop-off area. And directly north of that bus drop-off area is the POP IPOP program. The POP IPOP program does have its own dedicated entry at that north stair tower with some covering over it for protection of the children just outside the doorways. If we move south down into this site, there are some individual spaces, pre-K OT-PT, reading intervention, visual arts. In the southwestern quadrant, you can see the cafeteria, and this is down in the lower right-hand, I'm sorry, I gave you the wrong one, that was southeast, so the lower right-hand corner is the cafeteria. The kitchen support is seen there directly above the cafeteria. And moving down that corridor is a dedicated kindergarten wing. each of the kindergartens with direct access out to that playscape area that we shared earlier. And then lastly, over in the lower left-hand quadrant of the plan, we do have the gymnasium. It does have a platform associated with the gym. General music and instrumental music are co-located nearby. It is serviced from its own lobby space and vestibule entry point for after-hours use, weekend use for the athletic facilities within the school. Chuck, can you take me up to the second floor? Thank you. The second floor configuration is a three-sided configuration. So the areas that are designated as grade 2 and grade 3 begin to form the western side of this second floor plate. We do have the connector link that links across to the eastern side of the floor plan. To the north east, that grade grouping where you see grades 4 and the beginning of grade 5, that is over the POP-IPOP area, but it's general classroom at this second floor level. And south of that is the remainder of grade 5. The rest of this is roofscape. So the courtyard, which is held within that, does have good southern opening and exposure. It's single story as it relates to that court space from the south. And Chuck, if you can take us to just some general building elevations, we can introduce the building. The west elevation, which is at the top of this sheet, is the elevation from Ellington Road. The building composition is predominantly a brick face building. There is some ground face block, a white, very light color at the upper story area. There are some precast elements that are found within the building, basically capping column piers, some used with the decorative castings that hold the name of the school. Other materials within the elevation, at the large oriel windows at where Chuck's cursor is currently to the north of this building, that will be wrapped in architectural metal cladding. And in terms of roofing material, at the sloped roof forms that are above, that will be shingle material. Yep, if we can slide down, you can see that the materials are applied similarly around the building. And Chuck, if you can continue to move down. This gives a section of the courtyard space with its two-story. The side that we're looking at would be the two-story element that faces Ellington Road. Chuck, if, yeah, please, thank you. And this is just continuing around the building, giving you a sense of the various portions of the elevation. The very top, what you're looking at, is that of the cafeteria entry point, right where the cursor is. To the left is the kitchen service area. And then you can see some proposed screening, metal louver screening fence just to the left of the masonry materials there. And that screening contains the service loading areas. If we can slide down again, Chuck, to the lower elevation. So this view again, looking north to the connector corridor, which is moving between the parent drop-off and the drop-off to the bus drop-off area. To the right of this elevation, where the cursor is currently, that is the library element within the building, and immediately to the right of the library is the remainder of the administration area and the health suite. To the left of the curtain wall connector is in fact the entry point for the POP IPOP program. And Chuck, if you can take us down to the lowest of these elevations. Thank you. So the elevation to the right here, that is a westerly west elevation. The element to the left of that elevation is that POP IPOP entry. And you can see the material use and layout within this is similar to the applications elsewhere, predominantly a brick skin building. We do have some precast belt coursing moving through it. And then at where the cursor is currently, that is ground face CMU block at the upper portion of the building. And Chuck, I'm not sure, do we have any other drawings to share within this packet? I think
some more internal elevations, I think, Jim, inside the courtyard, it appears.
Yep, there's a series of...
If I may, this isn't really a site plan review. This is an 8-24 referral. It really is for the commission to refer if we think it's a good idea, if it's within the plan of conservation and development. And I understand what you're doing, and I think a lot of the commissioners would appreciate the information, but this is really to discuss the proposed planning and design. It really seems like this referral should have happened probably prior to the referendum. I do understand what you're saying, but we do have a full agenda tonight also. Do you have much more to present?
I think we're all set, Bart, with that. I think you guys are already probably familiar with the project, so I think we're all set presenting, Jim. Unless there's any questions.
Okay. Well, at this time, then we'll turn to our town staff, our Director of Planning, Michelle Light.
I don't have any comments other than to say your town plan does address community facilities and the need for the to address community needs as we move forward. So it is supported through the plan.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll just check with the town engineer. Jeff, do you have any comments, questions?
Not as it refers to the 824 referral for this application.
Okay, thank you very much. Commissioners, if we could just go around the table, if you do have any questions, comments in regards to the 8-24 referral. I'll turn to Commissioner Bonzani.
Okay, Chairman, what is it exactly that we are voting on?
We aren't
I'm just trying
voting. We are giving a consensus of, do we give it a favorable review? Or do we give it a negative review?
You mean for the
Do we,
school?
do we support them moving forward with the proposed planning, design, acquisition, construction, and equipment to furnish the new Pleasant Valley Elementary School?
Okay,
They are
thank
gonna
you.
come back before us with the
With a
site
site
plan review in the future.
Okay,
So-
so thank you for that clarification. I was a little bit off, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, the town public has spoken, and you know they're all for it, and yeah, definitely consensus for me is to go forth. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Dexter,
No comments.
are you in favor of moving forward?
Absolutely.
Okay, Commissioner Flagg? And
Yes, I'm
by
in favor of
moving
moving
forward, I mean presenting a favorable review.
Favorable review, yes.
Okay. Commissioner Flagg,
Yes, I'm in favor of moving forward. Favorable
with
review.
favorable review. Okay. Commissioner Wagner,
I'm in favor of a favorable review.
okay. Commissioner Bernstein,
Favorable review, no comments or questions.
okay. Commissioner LeBlanc,
Favorable review, no comments or questions, let's move along. That
okay.
sounds good.
Commissioner McGuire, any questions, comments?
No, I'm in favor of moving forward. Am I commenting as an alternate? I'm not seated.
Oh, I apologize.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And I too see this as a positive thing, and I support it getting a favorable review. So, that's the consensus of the group.
Yes.
And we could put that in the form of a motion if somebody wants to.
I move that we return a favorable review of the Pleasant Valley School proposed planning, design, acquisition, construction, equipping, and furnishing of the new public Pleasant Valley Elementary School.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of supporting a favorable review, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Okay, our next item is number 2, the PZC sponsored text amendment for the electrical vehicle chargers. Everybody got the packet. I hope you had a chance to review it. As we've all said before, I think there's a lot of good things being presented, added to the regulations. Is there anything else that anybody wants to add to this? And I'll start with Commissioner LeBlanc.
Nothing to add. Thank you.
All set? Okay. Commissioner Bernstein?
I give it a favorable review.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Wagner?
Yes, I plan to vote for this. I would make one minor grammatical correction on the next to the last page. Michelle, if you would just look at the way the singular plural is handled in that item H that we just added.
Select the level 1 charging is permitted in the streetlit poles. It does not require parking restrictions. So, are you?
Should just read electric outlets that support level 1 charging are permitted on streetlight poles and do not require parking restrictions.
So are instead of is?
Yeah.
Okay.
And do not instead of does not.
Got it, thank you.
Okay.
Should I go ahead and make a motion at this point? Or do you want to continue going around the
No,
table?
by all means, you're welcome to make a motion. I'm just gonna turn to the other, commissioners, during comment, that's all.
I move that, we approve the, proposed, PZC sponsored electric vehicle, charging text amendment. The Planning and Zoning Commission finds that the zone change is in conformance with the town plan of conservation and development. The effective date of the zone text amendment is May 9, 2021.
2021, correct?
Yes.
Yes,
Correct.
okay,
I second.
okay. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any questions, discussions? Just want to make sure all the commissioners had a chance to comment. Commissioner Flagg, anything?
No, I'm all set, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Dexter,
All set.
Commissioner Bonzani.
No other comments, just, great job, Steve, a lot of work and, great job, that's it.
Okay, meat and potatoes, Frank, meat and potatoes. Okay, we had, the motion, it's seconded. If there's no further discussion, I'll call the motion. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay, our next item is number 3, application 21-12P, Esteem Manufacturing. Commissioners, what is your pleasure?
Make a motion to approve?
Great.
All right, let's make a motion to approve application 21-12P, Esteem Manufacturing Addition. There are all the standard conditions, but number 3 says the application is subject to the conditions of approval of the Inland Wetlands Agency Conservation Commission, including bonds in the amount of $5,000 to ensure compliance with the erosion and sediment control measures, and $10,000 to ensure establishment of stormwater system. Number 4 is a landscape bond in the amount of $5,000, which is required and must be submitted prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy if work is not completed. Everything else is standard.
Okay, standard conditions through
Number 12. Yes, sir.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Commissioners, any questions, comments?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
There was some discussion of lighting and turning it out a half hour after the second shift. Did we want to include that, or are we happy with the comments we got?
Yeah, we could add that as number 13.
I have some wording that I could add, requesting that lighting be removed after, half hour after the close of business. The 2 hours period.
Okay. Also, if, I understand what one of the commissioners said, I think it was Commissioner Bernstein, if they want to make it motion sensitive, after that time, that's, I think the commission would be in favor of that also, if, it's up to them. Okay, so, the person who made the motion is, in agreement?
Yes, I'm in agreement of adding number 13, requiring lighting be removed or turned off a half hour after close of business, or some sort of motion sensitive lighting option.
Okay, and if I could just, they were asking for, or they had presented that the back area lighting, which faces the residence, be removed, but they were asking for, I believe, the front part to still stay on. I just wanted to throw that out there, and you can do whatever you want with it, Stephanie, okay?
Okay. Well, Michelle has the notes. We can leave it as is.
Okay. And Who seconded that? Was it Commissioner Bernstein?
Steve did.
So, just to clarify, we're gonna only have it apply to the back lighting facing the residences?
Yep.
Okay, I'm okay with it.
Okay, great. Okay, any other questions, comments, concerns, commissioners? Okay, hearing and seeing none. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, our next item is number 4, application 21-15P RTT. Commissioners, what's your pleasure? No pleasure?
Motion
I'm
to
getting no
approve.
pleasure out of this meeting.
Motion to approve.
Okay, do you have your,
Yes, application 21-15P. Says standard approval modifications, for the site plan. Special exception form to go on file. Number 1, no vehicles can be displayed for sale on the property. Number 2, pavement markings must be maintained in good condition throughout the site drives and parking areas. Number 3, all freestanding signs and or building signs require the issuance of a sign permit before they are erected.
okay, we have a motion and do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. And I just want to ask for a clarification. They are allowed to sell 4 vehicles, but it's not like they're going to have them out in a big display area. They're going to be back in their lot where they belong.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns, commissioners?
I believe the way I would phrase it is they can inventory up to 4 vehicles, right? They can physically have no more than 4.
For sale, correct.
Yes.
Okay. So, and that's by the regulations anyway, but.
Right, special exception.
Okay, so, any other questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Commissioners, we're past 9:30. If we could have a motion to extend the meeting for, say, 10 or 15 minutes?
So moved.
Okay, we have motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, we have, next item on our agenda, number 5, application 21-16P, Jessica Waterhouse and Missoula Animal Sanctuary. Commissioners, what is your pleasure?
I'll make a motion that we approve of application 21-16P Missoula Animal Sanctuary. For a special
Following
exception.
conditions.
Yep. Number 1, this permit is to operate an animal sanctuary at 250 Main Street. 2, the animals allowed on the property include 2 horse, donkey, pony, alpaca, 4 goat, sheep, 12 chickens, 2 rabbits, and 2 pigs. Domestic animals include 12 dogs and 4 cats. Potential for caged bird and or reptiles. Inspection for compliance by the town animal control officer, zoning enforcement officer, or their designee may occur to ensure compliance with these number of animals and to ensure that proper animal husbandry is being practiced. 3, any expansion to the property and or number of animals would require further approval from this commission. 4, the property must be fenced in whole or in part to contain animals within the property. 5, no public events or educational program can be offered other than 2 fundraising events a year unless further approval is granted by this commission. 6, all licensing of animals shall occur in accordance with local ordinances. 7, if the sanctuary accepts donations or have a donate button on a webpage, they will need to register with the Connecticut Department of Consumer Protection as a charity. Public charities, federal 501c3 compliance may also be required under the authority of the state of Connecticut. And 8, Michelle wanted to put something about that gentleman that had some regulations.
Yeah, what we would do is list any additional requirements have to be met, and we'll list what he referenced for us.
All right, number 8, any additional
It'd be
compliances?
State requirements.
Any conditional state compliances will have to be met. That's it.
Okay. Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments, concerns, commissioners? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay. Our next item is number 6, application 21-17P, Monique, DBA, Precisely Pandas.
Chairman, just
Commissioners,
a quick correction on the first item. This is for 36 children, not 34.
I saw that.
Sorry about that, Bill.
okay.
Motion to approve Precisely Panda Daycare, application 21-17P. Special exception
Following conditions.
with following exceptions forms to go on file. Number 1, this approval is for a daycare with a maximum of 36 children. 2, prior to commencement of any site work, a meeting must be held with town staff. 3, no building permit will be issued until the final Mylars have been filed in the town clerk's office. 4, all plans used in the field by the developer must bear the stamp and authorized signature of the town of South Windsor. 5, this approval does not constitute approval of the sanitary sewer, which can only be granted by the Water Pollution Control Authority. 6, the building street number must be included on the final plan. 7, pavement markings must be maintained in good condition throughout the site drives and parking areas. 8, all freestanding signs and or building signs require the issuance of a sign permit before they are erected. 9, the application shall consult with the building, fire, and health departments on daycare code requirements and the state licensing. 10, the curb cut on Governor's Highway shall be modified to allow only exiting traffic. Do not enter shall be installed at that entrance.
Okay, if
Second.
if I might just suggest, I believe it's the eastern curb cut on Governor's Highway, because there are 2, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So if we could add that, Bill, the eastern curb cut?
All right. Number 10, the eastern curb cut on Governor's Highway shall be modified to allow only exiting traffic. Do not enter shall be installed at that entrance.
Okay, thank you, Bill. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion, questions, comments?
Could we clarify the number of children? Is it 34 or 36?
36.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Awesome. Okay. We had some bonds. Does everybody have it from our last package? There was a Inland Wetlands Agency Conservation Commission bond. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I move, we reduce the bonds for application 19-37T, the learning experience, the Inland Wetland Authority Conservation Commission bond, in the amount of $20,000, reduced to $15,000, leaving a balance, reduced by $15,000, leaving a balance of $5,000, and the landscaping bond in the amount of $10,000, reduced by $5,000, leaving a balance of $5,000.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, questions, comments? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, minutes. We had 2 sets of minutes. Does everybody have them? I'm seeing the April 13th one. The March 23rd, 21.
Probably in another prior packet, right?
Right. But I didn't have any issue with them on the 13th, or I'm sorry, the 23rd. I didn't have any issues. The 13th, I just found a typo really under, 3/4 of the way down the page. You'll see Director of Planning, Michelle Light, 1, 2, 3 paragraphs after that. Chairman Pasconis asked for comments from commissioners. So if we could correct from to for, that'd be great. Was there anything else, commissioners, in those 2 sets of minutes? If not, we can accept them by consensus.
So
Agreed?
Yes.
Agreed.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Michelle, any old business?
No, not at this time.
Do you want to just, I'll just mention, we've had a heavy load. We've got, I threw in an extra meeting for May, between our 2 normal meetings. It's going to be a special meeting to address the educational play care. And Michelle, what else were we throwing on that one? I don't have it in front of me.
We're going to have you'd have an executive session on the play care and then a special meeting, potentially a housing discussion.
Okay. So those will be the 2 things, or actually 3 things that are on the agenda for that meeting.
And that date is May 18th, for commissioners, May 18th.
That's the
Okay.
special meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Will that be in person?
Good question.
Just
Michelle, has with Governor Lamont opening up the state, does that?
I'm waiting for new direction from the administration. I'll pass it on as soon as I hear something. It's all very new information. I have inquired, and I will let you know as soon as I know.
Okay.
I had a question. We saw a memo which had a routing of people who wanted to speak at, what looked like town council meetings, but would have also applied to us. Is that also being considered, or are we gonna just open up and have seating in the gallery like we always have had?
Again, at this point, Steve, it's a fluid situation, so I'm gonna have to look for further direction.
Thank you.
Okay. Commissioners, if there's no further business, and we really shouldn't have any further business on the special meeting, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
I'd like to make a motion, we adjourn.
Okay. We have a motion, and Bill seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bart. Bye-bye.
See you next Tuesday.
Woo-hoo.